G'day, this is Central Coast Newspaper's weekly news for the third week of August. In the bulletin this week, dog plan draft fires up the community. The ex-PM's Terrigal announcement in question. Diesel prices dip at last. Dr. Dogood's step challenge. Umina tennis and futsal leading the way. And Groove Cruising is back on the Hawkesbury. Now the top story of the week is Central Coast Council's Dog in Open Space Plan 2022-23 is a draft policy and it's set to close comments at the end of next week. 3 separate community petitions are protesting some of the suggestions and have collectively attracted almost 3,000 signatures to date. Actions are planned for this weekend and the Council's Tuesday night meeting is bound to fire up discussions. Now, in case you've just returned to Earth, the other revelation this week was the ex-PM's ministerial self-appointment schmozzle, and the Central Coast is right in the middle of the debate due to his announcement pre-election to stop the renewal of the PEP 11 offshore oil and gas exploration permit. This is what the ex-PM had to say to us in December 2021 at Terrigal Surf Club.
But as a Prime Minister, you have to get the process right and you have to consider all the other factors that are involved to make a proper decision. And I want to thank people for their patience here along this stretch of the New South Wales coast, because it's important that a government has the experience to know how to do these things properly.
And this is what the Dobell member MP Emma McBride said to us this week about the revelations.
As the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has said, this is extraordinary and unprecedented. Australia's system of democracy, our system of government, is based on openness and transparency and accountability, not on secrecy.
Not to be outdone, this is Save Our Coast founder, Dr. Natasha Dean, and what she had to say this week.
Well, I think the fact that the past Prime Minister went to those lengths to end PEP 11 is testament to the strength of community opposition that simply highlighted the obvious reasons to not proceed with this disastrous project that is PEP 11, and that is that gas drilling off the New South Wales coast would be fraught with danger and is an unacceptable risk to coastal communities' well-being and livelihoods.
Now, diesel prices on the Central Coast have taken a dip this week after intense media coverage of the issue and last week's public outrage. While some retailers have significantly dropped the price of diesel, the price gap with E10 is still significant. And remember, next month, the temporary 22-cent a litre tax holiday will end and prices for all fuels will likely rise. So fill up before the tax excise returns in full. And with spring in the air, a range of Get Fit fundraisers are kicking off in September to aid charities like the Cancer Council and the Prostate Cancer Association. Ken Hind of Toukley will unite with thousands of others around the country living with prostate cancer who are aiming to collectively cover the distance to the moon, 384,000 kilometres, in what they call the long run next month. And locally, Dr. Dogood, aka Ash Bowden, is encouraging people across the coast to participate in his annual Move Against Cancer Step Challenge. Throughout September, we caught up with the doctor here.
This September we are running Move Against Cancer. That's me and the Cancer Council on the Central Coast. And it's a step challenge for anyone and everyone to get involved in. The idea is to get people more active, improving health and happiness, whilst raising some money for Cancer Council.
And Umina Community Group and Umina Tennis and Futsal Club were both very pleased to celebrate the opening of the first dedicated futsal court at Umina Tennis and Futsal Club this week. The upgrades include the resurfacing of one tennis court with AstroTurf to futsal specifications to make a futsal-specific court and replacing the roof of the tennis house with a new roof. Now, these works were completed by Central Coast Council as part of an ongoing federally funded $9 million sporting upgrade precinct, much talked about on the peninsula over the last 6 years. Now, all these stories and thousands more written by local journalists, by the way, can be found on our news website, coastcommunitynews.com.au, still without a paywall, and in this week's region-wide print edition of the Coast Community News. And Listen to the radio version of the weekly news on Radio 50 Plus 93.3 FM throughout the weekend. Find us, of course, on your mobile phone's Google News and Apple News apps. And remember, old school, you can subscribe to our very popular weekly email newsletter via our website, or follow our socials via YouTube, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram for updates throughout the week. Now we leave you this week with something groovy. Tunes from the Groove Cruise on board the Riverboat Postman on the Hawkesbury. This Sunday, now the cruises were organised by Chris Martin Murphy going back to 2017 when he first initiated the Hawkesbury River Blues Cruise. Now, post-pandemic, they're back each month. Just search for Groove Cruise Sundays on Facebook for tickets. See you next week.
We were down in Nashville, 75.